alcohol,
sex,
food,
gambling,
drugs,
internet,
love.
spending.
There are a million addictions, and everybody is recovering from something. Here to help, it's Recovery Wednesday with America's original radio psychic, Dr. Linda Salvin, along with addiction specialist Candy Finnegan from the Emmy Award-winning television show Intervention. Candy and Dr. Linda are two gals who know recovery because they are in recovery. Listen as they help you bring your recovery to the next level, help you solve your thorniest issues in ways you may have never imagined. Together, they bring you the tools and techniques that bring balance, serenity, and recovery to your life, and the tools you need to find solutions for healing from the disease of addiction. Candy teams up with Dr. Linda to share their over 60 years of combined experience dealing with all areas of recovery. In her decades as a metaphysical clinician, Dr. Linda has helped thousands of people worldwide solve problems on the air and in person with her insights and solutions. So pull up a chair, turn it up, and get ready for a visit on the path to recovery with the one and only Dr. Linda. And now, live from Los Angeles, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Linda Salvin and Candy Finnegan.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Hey, Candy Finnegan. You made it just in time.
I don't know what's wrong with my circle, but
Yeah, you have no light. You have no
it
light. You're
just
in the
went
dark.
out. It
You're
just
in the dark.
blanked out. I don't know what.
Well, let me introduce the show while you get some light or get a flashlight or a lamp or something. I'm Dr. Linda Salvin, my dear friend of 37 plus years, Candy Finnegan. We're both in recovery. We both work in health-related capacities, helping people. And we're going to talk today about recovery is not the end, people. It's the new beginning. Myself, when I got sober at 31, I thought, well, how can I live without going to the bars and the clubs? And if I'm not drinking or smoking, what am I going to do? Oh my God, my life is over. And I'm telling you, had I not gotten sober, my life wouldn't be as good as it is now. And I can only tell you it gets better and better and better. The more you open up spiritually, the more you heal, the more you let go, the more you receive from people, places, and things, opportunities, God, friends, family. It just shifts. You think it's bad now? They say in the 12-step program, what's this? My worst day sober is my best, my best day using is my worst day in sobriety. Or how does it, remember, as bad as it is, the worst day in your in
my
using,
my worst day in sobriety is still better than my best day in
using, right? I got it backwards. It's been so long since I've repeated that. I feel like I got this little horn coming out of my head the way the camera's set with that piece of art. Let me get rid of that.
I'm just thinking that my pictures are cattywampus, and please, dear God.
That your pictures are what?
They're
and I have static, and I don't know why I've got static today when I didn't have it on yesterday's show, and nothing's changed. It's just a weird day. But you're here, so do you have a lamp? Thank you,
yeah,
Barbara. We've got nothing but static.
Know.
What is going on here?
I don't know. I don't know how to get it to work. I can't.
Oh, that must be you, Candy.
Tear everything. Let's see. What is that like?
I'm not hearing
that's
static.
all you. You static. It's all static. It's not me. I'm sorry, people. We got some technical difficulties. I'm going to talk over it. So if you want to get sober, you're looking for a new way of life, you're trying to get out of what doesn't work, and, oh, I'm tired of being hungover, but I'll be okay on Monday until I do it again, which is the same old response most addicts say, oh, never again, never again. And you do, and you do, and you do, and you think you're okay because you're so used to being not okay under the influence of a substance. So you think that's your life, but there really is life after substance abuse. There is life, healing, wholeness, communication, love, success, everything you think you can't have, or whatever slipping through your fingers, or with your denial of the mood swings, or you walk into a situation and you've just been out drinking, and you say hello, and the person gets a big puff of your alcohol or your cigarettes. It's not attractive. You think it is. Go to a bar on New Year's Eve and watch everybody kind of hang out. And then you look at yourself, it's like, that me? Is that what you want the world to see, this thing that's out of control? No, it's not pretty. You might feel better because you're denying your emotions. It's all you're doing is pushing down feelings. That's better. So we're out of this static. I can barely see you though. Do you have a lamp? What about the lamp behind you? Can you turn that on?
Well, I'll see.
Yeah, it's you. There's the static and everything when you moved. That's a little better. I don't know what the static is. It's weird.
It's pretty.
You're going to have to sit down, Candy. It's definitely coming from your end. We have to rewire it. Anyway, people, there is life after getting sober. You do not have to drink the rest of your life. You do not have to smoke dope or cigarettes or pipes or cigars the rest of your life. You don't have to smoke crack the rest of your life. You don't have to smoke, drink, inhale, ingest even sugar, flour. There are ways to get off substances. Gambling is a substance. Porn is another distraction. Online, as we know, we're scrolling all day long. God forbid we should hear the news or learn something about health or there was a horrible story. I don't know if you saw it, Candy, but this poor man up on San Fernando Road got hit as a pedestrian. He was crossing the street and a car hit him and he didn't stop. And then a second car hit this guy and they didn't stop. Then a third car went and hit this guy. So the guy got hit 3 times. He was obviously pronounced dead on arrival. But 3 people hit and ran this poor pedestrian up in San Fernando the other day. It was in next door. I'm still shaken by that story. What a horrible thing. You can't even stop because you hit something. Yeah, it was a poor guy country. I mean, just imagine you're crossing the street and boom. A friend of mine in recovery, actually, who had about, let me think, he probably had 30 years, several years ago. He was jaywalking actually near the meeting and got killed. A friend named Rob. And you just never know. You never know what's going to happen. Life is fragile. I had a party at my house the other night with over 70 people for my 70th birthday. And one of the friends of mine couldn't make it. And he texted me to tell me one of the guys who was one of the most popular on campus, gorgeous. He was part of the Quicken developers. He's now got dementia at the age of 71. It gets stranger as you get older. It gets more fragile. It gets more vulnerable. It gets more real. So what you want to do, I don't know where all this static's coming. Candy, there's something wrong with your set. There's when you're young, you think you got all the time in the world. And then all of a sudden you realize you got more behind you than ahead of you. And if you can get it, meaning sober, or clean up your diet, or stop the gambling and start saving some money, or you don't have to just zone out with porn, but maybe get in a relationship where you learn to communicate. Whatever's going on, it's a new beginning. It's just taking that first step. How do you define it? When you first got here, it was like, oh my God, my life is over. What am I going to do? Right? Did you have that fear?
Not really.
Can't hear you. You're gone, Candy. I don't know what's wrong. I can't tell you I'm not there, but something's not plugged in right.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear her.
Rebel, can you mute Candy till we fix this, please? Okay, Candy's muted. I don't know what to do. Type in it's still there. And it's not here. I don't know what's going on. We were fine yesterday. Are you guys out there hearing all this static? All right, let's unmute Candy. See, I don't know.
I'm not hearing any static.
Yeah, neither am I.
But when you first start to get sober from whatever doesn't feel right, there's a hallway. You got to go through the fear of letting go to understand what it feels like being vulnerable and kind of shaky and kind of naked. You get real naked in front of other people because you don't have a buffer. And then all of a sudden you grow. It's like coming out of the caterpillar, coming into a butterfly. There's transformation. It's all transformation, and it only gets better. That does not mean you won't have pain, loss, grief, loss of jobs, money, houses. That doesn't mean life is perfect. It just means that you deal with it on a different level. Can we hear you now, Candy?
Well, I think you were the only person that
can't hear you.
Yeah, well,
it's all static. Turn off your computer, reboot, Candy.
Okay.
You're going to have to reboot. There's something loose. Try that. We'll see in a bit. We'll see when you get back. Okay. So I'm glad things are good there. Yeah, it's on her end, something technical or a wire, who knows? We'll fix it. So if you have questions about what it's like to be new in recovery, pop up, ask questions. I was angry. I was scared. I was 31 years old. I was, I'd had enough. I'd had enough. I'd been beaten up by life with a plane crash, hit by a fire truck, totaling the car, becoming psychic. And then all of a sudden I thought, maybe I should get sober on top of it because I didn't want to smoke dope anymore. I mean, it was just too much. And then when I started going to meetings, I was scared. It's like people were happy and smiling and communicating. And I was like, well, what's going on here? But I'd come through so much trauma that I was trying to at least ground myself. We don't all go through trauma to get here, but there is a lot of trauma because there's a lot of loss, or there's a lot of denial, or there's a lot of dysfunction in relationships, or whatever's going on. We all have it. It's just, what are you going to do with it? Most people stay in denial. Most people are functional users. Most people can handle it. But when it gets out of control with your emotions or your spiritual side, you have an option. If you're really chronically using drugs and alcohol, which I was not to that level, you have a different fight and struggle ahead of you. I just decided I was tired of not feeling good, Misty. I just know that it didn't work anymore. I had 2 glasses of wine was my last drink. I had a date with some guy and I came home and had a little buzz. Like, what am I doing this for? Didn't even like the guy. Had 2 glasses of wine, had a little spin. I'm like, and then I just decided something's not right. It wasn't like I had a 5th of gin or a bottle of Bailey's or something good. No, it was just wine. It was just wine. Are you there now?
I think I am.
Nope, can't hear you.
Well, but Rumor can't.
Don't have any volume.
I can hear her.
Candy, can you call in on your phone? Maybe that'll change it.
I can't have phone on my phone.
I'll have to come over and help you. Okay, so I just was 31 and I wanted a different outlook. I knew that I was becoming psychic and spiritual from all the accidents that I'd gone through from 27 to 31, but I needed more of a grounding, something for somebody to, a group also to help me feel better. I wasn't sure what was going on because certainly the doctors didn't know. I didn't know. And it was just trauma. And I had been around 12-step meetings for a different situation with the sugar. And I had walked in and out of AA meetings, but I never heard my story and I could never identify as an alcoholic because I wasn't a gutter drunk. I wasn't. But the principles kept staying in my mind and how to grow spiritually. And after being tossed around with the universal, whatever they decided to do to me in the 80s to create this psychic thing that I became, the initiation, as I call it, I had to put more of me back together. And this was just part of that healing and growth process. And at first I thought, I'll give it a year and see what happens. And at 13 months, I thought, well, maybe I'll go 1 more month. Maybe there is something here. Because there's always a statement that says, don't quit 5 minutes before the miracle. So I kept waiting for the miracle, and miracles started happening. Now it's 38 years. If you want to call into the station and talk to me on the air, that phone number now is, we're going to start this whole new routine where it's not just chat, but you can call in and you'll be patched through. 561 623 9421. If you want to call in and say hi, come in, country, say hi. Misty, you want to actually say hello rather than just pop up on the chat? That's the phone number. We're going to start doing this with the psychic line or the psychic show on Psychic Solutions Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can start asking Candy and me recovery questions, 561 623 9421. But you can bet that your worst day now would only be your best day later. I am telling you, nothing will feel as good as sobriety does. It is an amazing experience to just be you. You. Not who somebody thinks you should be, could have been, might have been, because you're doing it for him and her, your parents, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your wife, your ex, or whatever. You get to find the essence of you. That's all. It's just about you. Poor Candy, we're having issues on her end.
Well, do you think that the audience can
static.
hear me?
Can't hear you.
Wait. Do you think the audience can hear me?
Can't hear you.
Yes, the audience can.
Oh, so
it's not connecting for some reason,
Yeah,
Candy.
I
I don't know. I'm okay on my end with all the little cables here. I don't know what happened to your system. Is there a cable out?
The audience can.
Linda, can you hear me?
This is really
Yeah.
sad. Anyway, if you want to call in, please call in country. Why don't you call in and say hi? Let's hear your voice. 561-623-9421. And I'll start taking calls on the Recovery Wednesday show. This is part of the Psychic Solutions Network, I guess, and the trilogy that we do all week. And the topic today is recovery is the new beginning and not the end, because you walk through like the magic looking glass and your life starts to open up. You make new friends, you let go of what doesn't work. You don't have to be in pain or denial, or you don't have to be the victim. You don't have to be the people pleaser. You don't have to do anything but show up. Say something. Maybe I can hear you now. All I get is static. I can hear Candy and the audience can hear her. I can't hear her. That is so weird.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on because all I get is static, and I haven't touched this since I was on the air yesterday. I have no idea. But then I'll be quiet. Candy, you just talk. I'll be quiet. Take over the show.
Well, when I got sober.
Why don't you mute? Here, I'll mute.
When I got sober, it wasn't that I wanted to. I think I had kind of a high bottom. I hadn't lost the house, the husband, the kids, the car, my position in the community. But my mother-in-law was a social worker, and she didn't want her grandchildren being raised by an alcoholic mother. And I certainly didn't feel I was alcoholic. But I wasn't going to test her. She was 6'1" and she meant business. So I got sober, and it's like, I don't know. It was the greatest thing I ever did, but I certainly didn't think I needed to by any way, shape, or form.
Candy,
so it was a new beginning for me in all areas of my life. I got a new career. I went back to college. I was a better mother. I was a better wife. And I had some place to go. I had some place to talk about my truth. So I think it was a new beginning for me in a lot of areas of my life. I certainly would have never been who I am today without recovery, needless to say. But I think that I don't know how to explain it other than it's such a tremendous gift in my life, I don't know how else to explain it.
At what point were you happy that you got sobriety?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I would say I didn't come in planning on getting sober and staying sober. I came in to satisfy my mother-in-law. And then my husband got sober 7 weeks later, and that kind of changed everything. Because he drank a great deal more than I did. He was 6'7", I'm 5'3". So he can certainly hold a lot more than I did.
Did your mother-in-law encourage him or threaten him to
didn't say a word to him. Did not say a word to him. And that drove me crazy for years. But I said something to him like, I can't be around you drinking like this. And you're going to either have to do something or I'm going to have to leave you. We promised each other when we first got together that we would not say the D word, which is we wouldn't threaten each other with divorce unless we meant it. So I was going to leave him, but I wasn't going to divorce him. So, which is ridiculous because I would have had to have divorced him. No, she never said a word to him. Can you hear me now, Rita?
I can hear you. It must be something with, I don't know, everything just got crazy with my whole unit here, and I haven't even been in here since yesterday. I don't know. I'll have to do some more problem solving, of course, with technology. Go ahead. I did enough talking. Keep going.
Well, I was just saying, that Evelyn never said anything to Mike. She said it to me because Mike wasn't raising the kids. I was, because he was on the road.
Right.
So, and then when he went to Studio 12, he attached it to him in every area of his life, and it changed both of our lives. But I'd have to say he understood it and took it a lot more seriously than I did.
Well, he was doing a lot of different subsistence too, plus his environment was a little different than you being at home with the kids.
I probably would say, he was an alcoholic. I mean, he'd smoke pot, but he really didn't like drugs. He really, he could drink so much. He never had a blackout.
He was 6'7" or something. He could handle it.
He never had a blackout. So, he must have been okay to remember everything. I'll tell you that. But he was a different kind of an alcoholic. I mean,
I never had a blackout. I never blacked out.
Yeah, but you didn't drink a fifth of Jack Daniels.
No, I did not. I'd have one or two drinks, like I said. I think the most I ever drank was like one time in San Francisco when I was a student. I think I had like 12 Irish whiskeys waiting to feel it because, it was more whipped cream and coffee than it was alcohol.
But you were probably jacked on caffeine.
Yeah, and then by the time it kicked in, when Pierce Street closed or whatever, wherever I was, it's like, oh, now I feel the buzz. But no, I would feel more on scotch, which I didn't like. I didn't like alcohol that much. Cool, like I've said, but give me pot or amphetamines, that was my thing. I was a speed freak. Didn't like coke.
Well, I did cocaine, not on a regular basis because I certainly couldn't afford it. We couldn't afford it. But, I always had the mindset that I could drink more if I did it. But, as the old joke goes, I kind of cleaned my purse and laid down and went to bed wherever I was. So that wasn't working for me either. So, I both Mike and I were certainly Irish alcoholics. So I love drinking. I started out with Jameson's Irish whiskey, and then I went to Maker's Mark Scotch, and then I went to vodka. Then I went to vodka, and then I went to wine because I had enough people tell me that not to call them when I'd been drinking. So I went to white wine because red wine would stain my carpet, and there's my history.
I can't see you because I hit something and now I'm off. Just keep talking. This is one screwy day. Yes, I'm going to sign off and come back. I'm sorry. There we are.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, I don't understand. Better not touch
Tell me what you have around your neck. It looks like a ducky.
It is. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Super Bird. You know how I love birds. Whoops. There it is. So it's a little bird with like a little perch. It's made out of wood.
I thought that was a hot dog.
A what?
A hot dog.
No, it's not a hot dog. It's so peaceful. It's supposed to be like a bird on a perch.
It's cute.
There it is. Yeah, I got it a couple of months ago. So it's just a little bird because I can't have birds where I rent this house. He'll charge me $50 a bird, and I'm not paying that.
Oh, I'd tell him bird off.
We're
not going to go there.
No.
So I want to add to, when you're an alcoholic, you always have this immense insecurity of that you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not thin enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not tall enough, you're not whatever it is. But I need to tell you, I've been friends with you for I've been close friends with you for 32 years, but we both, I certainly knew you for 30, almost 38. So I always laugh at you because we started talking in November about your party. And we
What to do?
you were going to have it in a museum, and then you were going to have it then you were going to have it at a, and I said, you have such a nice house. You have all these fabulous friends. Just invite everybody and let's celebrate your life. I'm, over 70, so I was grateful that you were joining my
I caught up. I'm
my
now that
prompting.
decade. Yeah.
Yeah. So you said to me, sitting at a Thai restaurant, I'm scared to have it at my house because, first of all, I don't think anybody's going to show up. And second of all, but I'm not going to take people out to dinner. And I don't know if they get the deal where they pay their own. And I just said, calm down. So in the interim of this, you lost somebody very close to you, and you met somebody who was a wonderful caterer. And I mean,
It
there
all
was,
came together.
and as you said to me, could you move your car out of the driveway? Well, the only reason I parked there is because I wasn't going to walk 2 blocks. There was no parking on your street. So I walk in and there's like 60 people there. And I thought, this is a girl that has no friends. Nobody likes her. But here's this woman she went to 4th grade with, and here's this woman she went to kindergarten with, and here's the man that started her radio career, and here's somebody else that she went to Michigan with, and I had to laugh. I left and I thought, have you ever met anyone that you didn't stay in touch with, at least that you liked? And there were probably 25 people that couldn't come, at least.
Yeah.
So, and your dad was there, and he was
My
darling.
dad was there. Yeah.
He was darling, and he was very present, even though he's not a lot in his life anymore. And I just thought, if you ever, Linda Salvin, say to me, I have no friends, and I don't, I'm gonna shut you down.
Yeah, because some things never change. It still can be insecure, or I'm not as tiny as I was 20 years ago.
I don't think one person said, oh my God, you don't weigh 102 pounds.
No, nobody did. They just complimented the dress and said,
But
happy
you
birthday.
look darling. You look fabulous. And you had some very strange people there, and they all liked each other because they all loved you,
They all came from different walks of life, just so the audience knows. The Michigan people, 2 friends of mine who went to school at Michigan at different times than me, but we have become friends through life. And one married couple was wearing their Michigan gear. And of course, Michigan just won the last 2 football games and became national champions. And then, so there must have been 4 or 5 attorneys. There was a Grammy Award.
Oh, yeah. I have to interrupt you.
Yeah.
So we walk in, and I'm going outside to the tables in the fire pit, and it looks beautiful. And she says to me, and this is my chiropractor, blah, blah, blah. And this is my dentist, blah, blah, blah. And here's my psychiatrist's wife, blah, blah, blah. And I went, you had it covered. No matter what happened to anybody, you had it covered.
Yeah.
Every medical person you knew was there.
Dr. Linda showed up. She's not my dentist anymore. We're better friends. We're better as friends.
But it was very cute.
But it was all, the dentist. I had Dentist Academy Award. I had a producer, a couple producers.
Oh, yeah.
There were you in recovery. There were other people in recovery. There were accountants, CPAs. There was it doesn't matter what they do.
All your old assistants.
I'm sorry?
Your old assistants.
Yeah, my 2 assistants were there. One, what's her name? Tracy's been around since 2003, maybe. She comes to all my parties, and we were talking. She was at my 40th, my 50th, and my 60th, and my 70th. It's like she's been around for 30 years. So I keep in touch with people. That doesn't mean I see them on a weekly basis or I talk on a monthly basis. But when we do pop up, we just catch up from where we left off. Then there's other people that I can't even open the door to say hi because I have nothing to say or it doesn't feel right. And that's also part of the gift of sobriety, to be able to discern what's best, what doesn't work. And Candy and I will have these conversations. Well, this one said this, and I don't like what she did, and I really feel abused or bullied by her. I think I'm done. And there's one person that I've gone through since 11th grade with ping pong, and it was always negative, negative, negative. And then she'd come back. Well, this time she didn't even call and wish me happy birthday, and it was okay. But some people are so narcissistic. What you learn in sobriety is how to go beyond the veil of personalities, and you see the heart and soul of people, and either you want it or you don't, or you become more, as I said, discerning as to who's right or wrong for you, for your path and your journey. And that saying, God will do for you what you cannot do for yourself, is so
That's
true.
exactly what I was going to say.
The
And that's
people
one of the
removed,
biggest gifts of recovery for me.
yeah, people
know,
in your life, Candy, for
but-
all these years, people have been removed, people have been put in. It's the
What
journey.
you remember too is that you do the footwork and leave the results to a higher power, and you'll be stunned at the outcome. Because I mean, 70% of the time, it isn't what I think it's going to be.
Exactly, and that's what I was saying at the beginning of the show, and I thought it was you, but it's actually my equipment for whatever. I'll get David on over here. Yeah, my IT guy was there. I've known him since 1997. I have gratefully longevity that a lot of people don't. They
But you
can't
have longevity in a lot of areas.
work, relationships. Yeah, I'm
Friendships,
friendships. No, I'm grateful. I'm lucky. There were times that
different areas of your life. Yeah.
there were times it wasn't there. Sometimes they had to be established or reconnected, and then other times amends, and other times like get out. I don't just block. I don't care. You're not here. You're not part of my life. I've outgrown you.
You know, it's funny because you know how many close relationships, like with Michelle and all these other people that I've had close relationships with, and then all of a sudden, God will do for me when I can't do for myself, and something so blatantly blows up, and I'm the first one that goes, how did I not know that? And I'm, you know, whether they were getting loaded and they weren't sober anymore, or they weren't who they said they were, whatever it is.
Well, this went beyond. So this girl, you trusted this.
Protects me.
You trusted this girl with your life for years.
Well, and other people.
She ended up stealing from you. She hurt your family. I mean,
she was a con person.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's still, no matter how hard I try not to look at the truth, it always comes back to, you better pay attention. You know.
But that's the beauty of being sober, because the blinders come off and we get to see what we didn't see before. And that takes me back to how I opened the show about it all being new. And it's just the start of something, rather than being stuck in with the wrong people, the wrong guy, the wrong girl, the wrong job, and being miserable just so you go home and drink and use because you don't feel good. There is a solution. A client earlier with I used the sample of a compass. You know, you're going northeast, so go southwest. Just try something new. We're playing ping pong here. We're switching gears.
You know, I wanted to tell you, I remember this distinctly, which really rocked my world. You know, I'd wake up and I'd, you know, thank God that, you know, don't let anything or anybody put anything in front of me that's going to harm my recovery or my family or the people that I love. And, you know, this was in the very beginning of my recovery. And I remember that Brian James,
oh my God, yes,
who was a wonderful actor and got in a horrible motorcycle accident and started using opiate pills and ended up dying. Sadly enough, he was a fabulous person, and it was the first person. It was the first person.
Was it 86?
that I ever heard speak. He was when I went to my first Sunday meeting, he was a speaker.
Was that 1986, 87?
88. Oh no, 86 is when I heard him, but 89 is when he died.
Well, we had the musicians meeting at his house, or we had a party at his house, and he died shortly thereafter. Remember, he lived on that cliff in Malibu.
Yes, he was. So, but he said to me, if you wake up and you're having a really good day, and then all of a sudden your day goes left, let me tell you something. You can always start your day over. It doesn't have to be at 7:30 or 8 or 9:15. You can start your day over.
In other words, we don't have to go drink or eat or smoke or snort. You don't have to give up just because you had a moment.
Well, yeah, turn that moment around. Well, somebody's going to have a good day, and it might as well be me.
Yeah.
And that's what he said to me, and I've never forgotten it because I've had bad days.
Okay.
And I thought, wait a minute, let me start this over with because I don't want to sit like this and I don't want to feel like this. That was such really wonderful.
But see, that's the beauty of the 12-step program that we are in with community, which we've talked about in other shows, because we have somebody to talk to share experience, strength, and help. And you hear something, we think we know everything, or we don't want people to know us. We're secret. You don't know me. You don't know me. Yes, we're all the same, but we're in denial, or we're quiet, or we show it differently. We all have the same kind of an emotional reaction. That's why words like fear, resentment, anxiety exist, because it's universal. But the beauty is you have someone to talk to, or when you hear something said, it's like, oh, I can relate to that. And look at, after 37 years, he left an imprint on you.
Well, he was a great speaker. I mean, I didn't have much in common with his story, or a lot of things about him, but he had a great sense of humor, and I needed to learn how to laugh, and not at other people's expense, which was certainly.
Well, that's a good point right there. Going back to the topic that it's not the end, it's the beginning. The beginning is not the end. We don't come in laughing, most of us.
Well, we come in making fun of other people.
Or we're in such denial that you can't, you're so depressed and so shut down, then all of a sudden, why are they laughing? What do they want? Then all of a sudden you get that little light bulb and it hits inside and you start giggling, you start laughing, then you get the moment and you start to get on track with the spiritual side, and you don't quit 5 minutes before the miracle. You reach out to somebody else. That's why we have sponsorship. You do the steps. You show up, because we hear other people's experience, just like we're doing on the show. We are sharing our experience to somebody out there that may need to hear something.
But also what comes with that is our strength and our hope. Exactly. Because what I've learned over all these years, sometimes I don't have anything else to offer other than hope, and it's possible.
Well, it's like that little emoji, not emoji, it's a GIF, whatever they're called. There's a little heart tossing a heart to someone else to catch the heart, and it says, sometimes it's all I have to give, which is love. It's just yourself, and yes, Candy was right. I freaked out in November about, oh my God, I'm turning 70. What am I going to do this, do that? And then my friend who passed away, his widow offered her house. I said, no. Candy convinced me to have it here. Turned out beautifully. She catered. And yes, all these people showed up. And I was like, blessed.
And what a cake.
Oh, could you imagine? Brittany, my friend Brittany, she's been on the show. I'll have her back. She's a professional cake baker. And she baked.
And I mean, this cake was like,
like a half a foot, 6-7 inches long. Chocolate with edible butterflies. I found out they were edible.
Oh, I know I ate one. I had to.
Yeah, I had to have her take it home. I could not have that.
Oh my God, no.
I couldn't have it here. And then we had little baby individual cheesecakes that Han made, and we had lemon bars. That was just dessert. Some people, my friends, Roxanne and Todd wrote, said they just got home feeling like a beached whale from all the food. But I'm glad.
I watched our friend John eat 3 cheesecakes.
Did he?
Yeah,
I'm glad he had a good time.
He's getting another one,
Good. I'm glad he had a good time. Everybody seemed to have a good time. Even though the heaters weren't working, I got a refund on the bad heaters. Now the owner of that company where I had my moment with him, he wants this healing because he gets what I do when he needs me. So even there's another glitch that turned into a blessing. Like, oh my God.
We talk about that little silver thread.
Yep.
That weaves through our lives. And, I never know who's going to grab onto it. So that's
just like the audience here. We don't know who needs to catch the ring, the brass ring, the thread, a phone number, an idea, their local 12-step chapters. It's all over the world, people. It's not just us. It's everywhere. If you want it here, you need it. It's available. But it's not
Don't be afraid to try. That's what I always say.
It's not the end. It's not the end of your life. It's not.
No.
It is just the beginning of true life, as the universe, as God would want it, because we have our will and we do a great job of ruining it. A lot of the times we go out on all these other
our will, it does, God's will be done. No. Our will be done.
And then all of a sudden you're hitting the wall, or you don't have the relationship, or you're broke, or your credit's down, or you can't get funding, or you don't have the you don't have a career, whatever. Something's always going to go wrong. But you let go. You also have tools on how to better manage a problem. We can take a little longer. I had a few questions even with the party planning. I had to ask Candy, what do I do? There were two people, don't want to mention names, but Candy knows what I'm talking about. One, I didn't know how to, if I should invite or how to pose the invitation. And the second was somebody popped up on my birthday. I hadn't talked to in a couple of months because this person pops in and out like a jack in the box. And I offered the invitation, then I didn't hear, then I did hear. I still haven't heard back, but graciously, I posed my opportunity. One said, no, I can't, I'm sick. The other said, no, I'm not interested. I'm like, fine, whatever.
Well, but here's the thing.
But you wanted to know
your side of the street was clean.
Right.
They can't come back with you like one of them did with me and say to you, not to me. I can't believe I wasn't invited to her husband's memorial. Well, wait a minute. I hadn't talked to you in a year. That you're not, to my best thinking, well, and you certainly weren't friends, close friends.
No, it's a different relationship.
So it's like, and she said, I just can't believe it wasn't, blah, blah, blah. And the thing about it is that I had no regrets. I got to ask and participate. And as we say, everybody was there that was supposed to be there. So I can't worry about the people that felt left out because they weren't there for some reason, And
like my friend that was going to come in from the San Diego area, I understood when you get sick, you get sick and you don't feel like driving 4 hours. That was a commitment, though. Would have been great. One person who we're having dinner with tonight, Storm Monroe, whose show I do, and he was on the show yesterday, and he's going to be on next Tuesday. He's a YouTuber at Storm Monroe, and you can see me with him. He flew out from Texas to join the party. That's a friend. That was somebody who wanted.
Well, but how dare he not? We'd have killed him.
But it's just in the Neil, from high school, was the first boy to drive me to school. I've known him forever, even though I'm not in the crowd anymore because they all got married and it's them. But he and I still have a friendship. So he and his wife came, and it's us. It's still honoring friendship. And that was the beauty of all these different people from all different walks of life.
That's continuing and having new friends and new commitments and new things and we're always begin again, it's like, and we didn't go anywhere, but our program, the 12-step program teaches you, if you go out and use or something horrible happens and you drink or use drugs again, you didn't lose what you had. You just have to come over and restart counting. We don't shame you or blame you. It's the disease. I mean, people do everything perfectly.
We try.
And still, people go and use because they self-medicate and they don't have a choice. They don't think they have a choice, and they do. So,
like it's the same thing starting over. It doesn't mean that just because I've got a friend from 4th grade still in my life that we've been totally friends in and out of all these 60 years. I mean, we've had our moments. We've moved away. We've come back. If it's a real soul connection or a real admiration or spiritual thing, these people will walk through your journey. And the more sober you get, the more pleasant you are with them. So they may not want to walk away, or you may teach them something. I know we're down to like a minute left on the show here. So we're going to have to start wrapping it up. But this is a great topic. I think we should continue moving forward.
Well, we believe there is no other progressive terminal disease, that all you have to do is stop doing what you're doing.
People don't understand.
You can go to treatment if you want. You don't have to. You can go to detox. But a whole lot of us walked into AA, and that was enough for us because we stayed.
And
where
through
now,
AA,
you've got 10, 15 times you've been to rehab. That's not going to work. I mean, you have to make a commitment that no matter what, you're not going to pick up. And is it hard? Yeah, but it's not as hard as trying to find drugs when nobody has any.
Or you don't have the money, or you got to go steal or
Yeah.
shoplift
Oh,
or
right.
whatever. So this is Candy Finnegan, and I'm Dr. Linda Selvin. Candy, where can they find you if they want to reach out?
Candy Finnegan,
At
at
AOL.com.
AOL.com. My website was up, but I don't like it, so I'm not giving it. I got to work on it. And yeah, right. That's an odd thing to say.
I couldn't read it.
He just said that I learned that I took a lot being high, that I could not tolerate being sober. It's
That's not
Lisa-
true. It's the opposite. It's
Yeah,
actually
it
the
is.
opposite. Once you learn to live life sober, you'd be surprised what you can tolerate. Okay, that's the end of the show
You can
today.
tolerate. I've lost my husband, my parents, my best friend. My kids have been happy. They've been unhappy. My car has worked. It hasn't worked. I mean,
You have a
little
sick
bit,
kid, you
whatever.
have a sick cat that you nurture. I mean, you've got
Oh, yeah.
plus all your clients and you rescue them, but you go through life sober no matter what. That's the end of the show today. We'll be back next Wednesday with Recovery Wednesday.
Stay happy.
Stay out there. Just let your light shine, people. You don't need it to get through life. It's the opposite. You're just afraid to be you. We'll talk soon. If you want to reach me, it's Linda, Dr. Linda at lindaselvin.com. We'll see you soon. I'll get my computer or headsets fixed and stay
Have a
there.
great
Candy.
week.
Talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye. Thanks, Rebel.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed Recovery Wednesday. You can reach Dr. Linda at 888-509-1077 or at lindasalvin.com and Candy Finnegan at candyfinnegan@aol.com. Need a breakthrough of your own? Ready for answers or insights nobody else has? Reserve your own one-on-one in-person chat. Dr. Linda isn't just for other people. Dr. Linda gets results for you. And it's easy. Contact details are on screen now. Just click on lindasalvin.com or call toll-free 888-509-1077. That's lindasalvin.com or toll-free at 888-509-1077.